Hey, it's another Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I know what you're thinking. They're still here. We don't believe it either. I mean, we're amazed. Every time I tune in and I hear them play the tapes, because they play the tapes, I'm like, oh, okay, it's still running. It's working.
Although you could just play us on the internet, and then it's less surprising that they're still there because everybody's still there.
Yeah, everybody is still there.
Like, you're just like, still there.
Yeah, digital trash. But hey, welcome to the show, everybody. Do we have anything we need to tell the fine folks that maybe would benefit them in any way?
No.
Okay. Great job.
Hey, do we have any more of that 420 merch? We might as well talk about it since we can't text about it.
I know.
Is anything left?
How can we talk about it on the radio? Doesn't the FCC control that?
I don't know.
420. I've said it.
Yeah. I'd love to give you our number for our texting service, but we lost it. The FCC.
We're getting another one.
They took it away from us.
And it's going to be
420, 69, 69.
Yeah.
Don't steal that.
Yeah.
We do still have rolling trays and grinders on the Tom and Dan merch page.
Yeah,
so.
a rolling tray is not it's not a bar cart. It's just a little tray you put your weed on.
Oh, I'll announce that we got a new watering hole, Wops Hops in Sanford.
Yeah.
Walking distance from the AR-T&D, literally across the street.
Yeah, literally across the street.
So if you go to Wops Hops, I know Tony dropped off some pint glasses there yesterday.
Yes,
so
he did.
Use that hashtag.
Yep. And if you're in Sanford, stop by Wops Hops. And
what's that hashtag again, Tom?
It's Watering Hole Mo.
All right.
Watering Hole Mo.
Watering Hole Mo.
Mm-hmm.
Watering Hole. Oh, watering hole. Say, what do we got in here? A couple of watering homo?
I don't know why.
Yeah, the watering homo.
I'm sad that we did that.
Are you sad?
Yeah. Because I can't even say it anymore. Because I get mad at it.
It's your idea.
I'm surprised it stuck.
Why did you stop me?
I tried.
I'm surprised it stuck.
Then you said I was no fun.
But hey, the hashtag, I was going to call it a hashtag. The hashtag is watering hole mo. Okay.
Right.
Let's jump into emails. If you guys have any questions for the show, anything's on the table. We are the oversharers in this town. Show@tomanddan.com for all emails.
Let's talk about the lizard. So the
okay.
lizard is still on Sam's
emails.
Camera.
Yeah. For those of you that don't know, our fish tank leaked slowly about a month ago, and it flooded the entire studio right before we went on spring break, okay? So in a matter of 6 hours, we got it cleaned up. We got it.
Man, that would have been bad if it happened like 6 hours later than it did.
Could've.
Because you would have been out of town. And
I would have showed up 3 days later.
Yeah. Sam would have been here on a
Dead
Wednesday.
fish.
Oh,
Stank.
man. And it would have stayed bad.
Yeah.
So
we wouldn't have been able to save it.
We had a saltwater tank.
I would have been panicking.
Yeah, and it was courtesy of our good friends at Top Shelf Aquatics. Love those guys. They did
not their fault.
No,
they
did
tried to help us as much as they could.
Let me just give them some love, man. They did so good on us. They did an emergency call to help us out, to get the tank out of here. They helped us with the insurance company.
They saved the fish.
They saved the fish. I mean, if you have any saltwater fish needs, Top Shelf Aquatics. We love those guys. But anyway, I think we're going in a different direction because I think we taught ourselves that we are probably not the people to have a saltwater fish tank. Not smart enough.
Yeah.
Not smart enough.
Yeah. So lazy.
So we got all that cleaned up. We've been deciding that we want to get a new pet. We had a gentleman from the from Gatorland reach out and say, hey, I can put a gator pit in your corner. And I was like, that's great. Tom vetoed that. He said, no.
I just said that.
Then I wanted to get a goat. We were going to get a baby goat. Tom said no.
Well, it's going to die in here.
So then,
I mean, you'll go to jail for neglecting
cruelty.
I won't
Yeah.
go to jail. They're not getting me alive. But then we noticed that when we were going in and out loading stuff up for our our event that we did,
Salty Sisters,
that a lizard, a big fat boy Florida lizard, and he is a jet
Hardy.
Yeah, he is like jet brown.
Yeah, it is.
He was darker, but I think since he started shedding, he's getting a little lighter coat.
And he's a thick boy, and he ran in here, and I first saw him over on our great couch in the lobby, and he was living inside the couch, in the corner of the couch, and he stayed there still. He's not a real active dude. He's kind of a bigger, fatter, sedentary dude. And then I did notice that after a couple days, I saw little white poops everywhere. I cleaned up all his poops. And he has since moved into the studio. Now he's in here with us.
Yeah.
And he has taken up residence in Samantha's corner.
Yep.
And he climbed.
He started in my my email basket under my desk because I went to grab some emails, and then he ran across the floor To which Tom then tried to catch him
Stiffly.
very terribly.
Yeah, it was like
he almost
watching
fell over like an old
watching
man.
the Leaning Tower of Pisa fall over.
So stiff. Bend your knees.
Good Lord.
He went straight over. Boop.
I was
like a
going
cheap
for
action figure.
a slow, and then because I thought it was if I went down slow.
Oh, yeah.
I thought you got stuck.
I thought you forgot what you were doing.
And then when I did do a little lunge at the end, which
Yeah, you did a slow lunge. Anyway, so he climbed up Samantha's desk.
Yeah.
Then he climbed to the top of Samantha's camera. And right now, as he sits, he is directly behind Samantha's camera. And the camera gives off. We have these. We have what do they call Logitech 9C20 or 920Cs or something like that. He gets on the back of them. They put out a little bit of heat, and he puts his little lizard butt, right against it, and he just kind of warms himself, and he sits there all day. So now he's been sitting there for like the last 3 days, and now we have a camera lizard, and we got to get him some food because Tom's afraid he's going to die.
yeah, there's not enough insects in here to support it.
There were.
But then we had Burn Pest come by.
Burn Pest just took them all out. They just came through here.
So then Sam started looking up
Larvae and
we
what we can feed
It's a maggots.
lizards.
Yeah, so we're
They
gonna
like papaya.
Yeah, so Sam found on PetSmart or Chewy.com we could buy black flies.
Yeah, black fly larvae.
A jar of black fly larvae.
How do you feed a wild lizard
You just
larvae?
What if I just put one on the edge
Well, they
of my
move
desk
ar-
and he runs? Yeah, they wiggle around.
They wiggle around. You got to put them in like a. You put them in. I think you put them in a Mountain Dew cap,
Okay.
and then you put the Mountain Dew cap where he can kind of see him wiggling, because he'll catch that. I think he'll see him wiggling, and that'll be his like, what do you call it? Instinct cue. To know to crawl down and eat the larvae.
You know what's weird is that I've heard, and including our friend Jim Colbert, had a pet squirrel at one time.
Yes.
That he saved, and his wife like nursed into an adult squirrel
Trash
with like a
people
bottle.
love trash animals, and we're trash people too. That's why we have the trash lizard.
And then
I had a little Grand Canyon squirrel follow me around.
Yeah.
My grandfather had a squirrel in the Everglades that used to come down to eat like peanuts off his shoulder. Like I remember that when I was a kid. And it would jump down on his shoulder and eat a peanut, and it lived outside.
I bet those airboat slam hogs went crazy for your grandpa. He's got the squirrel on his shoulder. He's feeding them
What
nuts.
was the squirrel's name?
And those big fat airboat slam hogs love your grandpa.
Swamp hogs.
Swamp hogs, yeah.
Anyway, what was that, Sam?
I said, what was the squirrel's name?
Oh, I don't think you
Oh,
named it.
you can't say it.
That's
You
too
can't
quick.
say-
That's
you
too
can't
quick.
say it.
Yeah. That was it. I never
I'll
named
tell you,
her.
it wasn't
Gotcha.
named John. It wasn't named Jane Fonda. I'll tell you that.
So
he was not fond of Jane.
But
Vietnam joke.
I've never in my entire life heard of anybody catching or having an outside Florida lizard, like a tiny one, not an iguana, like a regular standard.
No, this is but he's fat.
But he's only like 4 inches long.
But he's fat. He's a fat boy.
I've never heard of
Girthy.
anybody making that into a pet. Have you?
Oh my God, Double Dag in our Twitch chat room, twitch.tv/Tom and Dan Live. I think he says that up north they have Florida lizards and they sell them for $20 a pop.
Because they're rare, and then they keep them in like
I could see that.
Like a terrarium or whatever.
Yeah, I could see that.
But have you guys heard of anybody here in Florida? Because they're everywhere.
Tracy says that her friend's daughter catches them and keeps them as pets all the time.
Really?
I've
never heard of it.
When I was a kid, we had one that had infiltrated our house, and it would just run around, right? And I think it was the same one, but it very much like this. It had an area that it used to stay in, right? Like a primary area. And I still remember it as a kid. We had a sunken living room with green shag carpet, right? With a raised kitchen. And you would sit in the sunken living room looking up into the kitchen. And over to the left-hand side, we had a door that went out to a little patio, and it had a screen door, right? And this lizard that my dad named Henrietta would sit on the top of the door.
See, his dad does name the crazy animals.
Well, I'm crazy like my dad, and we like pee-pee dogs, and we love animals, right? So my dad named it Henrietta, and I swear on my mother and father's life, that lizard stayed with us for a solid 4 or 5 years of just sitting on the thing, and it would run around, and then we'd be sitting there watching Indiana Jones, right?
There's Henrietta.
On our brand new VCR, and my dad'd be like, "Oh my God, Henrietta's back! Hey baby, oh my God!"
And is there enough insects in the house for it to eat?
I was convinced as a child, yes, but that may be wrong. It may have been multiple lizards that my dad saw, and he just named them all Henrietta. I have no idea what to tell you.
Because they always end up getting in the door jamb.
Yes,
and then
you smush them, and then their skeletons stay there forever. I have one in my garage, and me and Maisie laugh and laugh.
And then they become like hard,
calcified
pieces of lizard.
Yeah, they become calcified lizard paper.
You can hold by the tail and like ding, ding,
yeah,
ding,
you can break them.
So
like a lizard sickle.
Should we get some sort of environment for this lizard and make it
he
our
likes
new?
the camera. He just needs some food.
Yeah, I feel like he likes what he's doing now. But what you're doing?
Maybe we should get him like a little pool.
No, what you guys are doing is what your wife made you do with any fish that you've ever got, and then it dies the next day.
No, we need to put him in some sort of. That's how to save him.
No.
He's gonna wander out. Where's he gonna get his food?
He hasn't been wandering.
He likes what he's doing. Why are you gonna mess with it? You're gonna mess
cage
it up.
him up, man.
We can't feed it.
Well, I mean, we have to release the flies into. We're gonna have to fly this place up.
I'm not releasing.
We have to release the flies.
Green Mile. Barf out some flies.
Why can't we? Do you think? Well, Sam, do you think you'd be able to grab him?
No, I'm not touching
Are you fast enough to grab him?
I could probably grab him. I'm not going to.
Well, I was just thinking we put him in the bathroom, and then we just fly it up.
No, come on.
And then someone goes pee-pee and it jumps on their butt.
You're getting a bee suit.
I'll get a bee suit. What do we do?
I'm telling you, we have to get some sort of cage.
No, between like getting him, we'll smush him and kill him.
No, we once we have to order it and then get a heating rock. And
he has a heating rock. It's called the camera, and he loves it.
Yeah, but that's the only way to keep the food in the area. We can't just put mealy bugs or like some maggots on
like
Sam's
mealworms.
desk.
We had like mealworms and
because they'll crawl everywhere. We need to put them all in one place. That's the only way.
You don't think he's getting enough of those? Remember those little worms that would crawl under our door jams and die in the carpet? You don't think he's getting enough of that stuff?
Dude, they're not there. I mean,
they're in here.
It needs to eat every day.
I feel like there's insects crawling all over me now. I feel like this place
he survived this long. He's got to be eating something.
Yeah, he's been here for 2 weeks.
He's living off his fat. He's in keto right now.
Oh, yeah. I thought he looked pretty good. Hey, you look, but his breath is horrible. It smells like straight meat breath.
Yeah, I think, there's just not enough to eat. I don't know how much. Look up what a regular.
You sound like
Florida...
an old Italian mother. He's got plenty. He's fine. You're like, Manta, eat more, Lisa.
I'm telling you.
Eat more. You look, you have no meat on your bone.
I think most lizards that get trapped in your house end up dying of starvation.
Henrietta didn't. Henrietta lived for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, I'm telling you, you saw the same.
Sam, how long can lizards live in a house?
We looked this up yesterday. It was as long as they're being fed, they could last I think it was 5 to 10 years.
I think Tom thinks that there needs to be like a steady, like a supermarket of food in here, and I don't think they need that much. I don't think they require that much.
They have to eat every day, I would imagine.
Do you know that as a fact?
Than a bear. Well, lizards don't look like they're storing much fat.
When lizards in captivity are kept as pets, they can live anywhere between 20 and 50 years.
He's fine.
Well, the lizard could be a broad spectrum of species, like
anything to not be wrong. I'm just saying, look, he's fine. He's gonna be fine.
Well, no, but look how many times they need to eat a day. I think
most people are in the chat room are kind of applying like alligator logic to lizard, and if you apply alligator logic to lizard, alligators don't need to eat every day,
like once a week.
Yeah, or whatever.
But they're eating a big meal once a week.
You will need to feed your lizard 3 or 4 times a week.
Okay.
Smaller species should eat 2 to 5 small crickets or 2 mealworms each time.
That's a lot.
2 or 3 times. Yeah.
There's kill him. Put him outside.
There's not enough crickets in here a week to, there may be an occasional doo-doo fly, but
I think a cricket's too big for him.
We can give him some snails.
No, a cricket to that guy is comparatively like me eating a jumbo Lazy Moon pizza. If he gets one little mosquito or one little gnat, he's fine.
No, a gnat has no nutrition.
No, you don't know that.
Yeah. A gnat is just a dot of nothing.
I feel like that's all he needs, though.
No. You need something.
Well, we'll keep this up for debate. We'll allow him to stay until he dies.
I've never seen a wild lizard just like go
trained.
back to the camera for heat and it's not scared of it. I went up to it, it's sitting there. I thought it was dead.
Can I ask you a question that I would like for you to try to explain to me?
Yeah.
Why would he choose the same camera when there's like 9 in here he could sit on, and they're all the same?
Maybe he probably already released his doo-doo or
he peed all over.
Yeah, so it's a scent. It's got to be that.
You peed all over your camera, Sam.
That's fine.
Anyway, it's
I'll have to look for some insects on our lunch break.
Okay.
Yeah, we got to at least put some sort of food for them. Like one little. Can we find it out in the grass?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Go out there. We'll go out there. We'll find like a bull ant. I'll rip its legs off.
Oh my God!
Just
a worm?
tape it,
and then give it as a sacrifice.
What if we get a worm and we cut it up?
There's a worm out there. I saw a worm yesterday out there. No, you don't need to cut it out. Just put it on the edge and let it wiggle.
You gotta like dangle it in front of him.
I'm telling you, he'll know what to do. He'll know what to do.
Yeah, it's a wild,
if he
tough-ass
catches
lizard.
it out of his peripherals, like if we had like this Mountain Dew cap right here. If I took this little Mountain Dew cap and somehow we're able to put like little maggots in there or little mealies that would just, but they can't get out, and I set it down in his peripheral vision, I think he'd see it moving, and he'd go like, what's that? And then he'd crawl down, and over the course of like the next hour, he'd crawl down and he'd eat.
Can we grow our own maggots?
I think we can. I think we have before.
In the sink.
Yeah. We just put like a little bowl of chili or something.
They quickly turn into flies.
Here's what we'll do. We'll take my salad. We'll take that avocado ranch that's on it. We'll mix that with a ham.
Okay.
Put it in the sink with a little bit of beer on top of it to activate it. And then we'll let it stink over the weekend. And then when we get back, we'll have ham maggots. Handmade, hand-grown ham maggots. Sorry. And then I'll put them in the mic. I'll put them in the Mountain Dew like top.
Yeah.
And I'll bring them in here. I'll set them down. Now, whatever you explain to our guests, when this place smells like a goddamn dead body in here.
Next time Bill Bellamy comes in, he's like, "You guys have maggots everywhere."
He's like, "God damn, it smells like a mortuary in here, y'all." He's like, "Well, have you met our big fan?" Oh, he's dead. He died. Emails.
Yeah, let's do some emails.
Okay.
Emails.
All right. This says, there's no point to this email other than I laughed. Hi, show. I work at Universal and was walking past the Transformers ride this morning when I noticed the operations kid they put out front to greet the guests. He took a sip of his black water bottle. It caught my eye because it looked like he drank from his nose. Moments later, a puff of smoke came out of him. He was vaping in plain sight with a pin behind his water bottle, and all I could think was, well done.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
You showed me the move.
Yeah, I did it for Tom. Here, I'll show you guys the move because I can do it. But, I mean, it's not a bad move. So here we are. I have my standard vaping device. I have a standard Diet Mountain Dew bottle. You just place it behind there like so.
Yeah, hold it with your thumb.
Hold it with
fingers
your thumb,
in the front.
and then when you're out, and then you just...
Yeah.
I mean, it's not bad. It's not bad.
But what do you do with the vape smoke?
You blow it down into your
Well, that's
shirt.
a little obvious.
And then it poofs out of your pockets.
Can you swallow it?
Some of it still comes out, though.
I've done that before.
Yeah.
Where I did that at a dance competition.
Hurts.
And I'm embarrassed to say this. This is embarrassing. I did it at a dance competition where I walked out to my car and I tooted, right? And then I was walking back in, but I was already a little high, and I was like, I'll just hold it in.
Okay.
And let it go away. So I held it in, and I'm walking, and I'm just letting it go away, and I'm not seeing anything. But then, I felt like it was really in me, and then when I sat down, I went to the moon. It affected me wrong. Like, it affected me poorly. It was like, you shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
It was like it was like I'd replaced an actual breath with vape.
Mm-hmm.
And my body was like, if you can only do that like 5 more times.
I feel like if you do that move where you're trying to swat something out of your face, or do 2 quick swats, and while you're blowing it out, it kind of disperses the smoke. And
or it looks like you're trying to get rid of smoke.
Here's the move.
You're making more of a sign of waving your hands around.
No, it's just
everyone's looking at you like, what's wrong with this guy?
A fly.
Yeah.
Oh my God, there's mealworm. Another one you can do is if you're you go into the stall. Right, of the men's room, but you have to sit down.
Okay.
You have to.
All
if you stand, I know you're vaping.
All
you have to sit down and vape while you're sitting down.
And then act like you're tying your shoe and blow it down.
I don't blow it down. You know what I do? I blow it in there slowly so it's kind of with me, and then I open that door rapid fire. I go, and when I open the door, it's like, whoosh of air comes by.
It's backdraft. That's the backdraft.
I give it the backdraft. Yeah, it whooshes it around.
Yeah. And then you're like, what was that?
Yeah, and then here's another
then you're
one.
surprised. You're like,
I've done that before where then the smoke visibly moves towards another patron that's in there washing his hands, and I look at him and I'm like, you smoking weed? You know, I blame it on him.
Yeah.
I blame it on him.
Yeah.
I'm like, God damn, millennials.
Yeah. It's like you fart in an elevator and look to the guy next to you.
Oh, by the way, yesterday, update on the smell that we had in the studio. It smelled like a diaper.
Yeah.
I think it was my body odor.
And Tom was trying to blame it on Luca.
I loaded myself down with Luca's the name of the lizard, by the way. I loaded myself. I have more deodorant on right now than I've ever worn in my life.
What's the matter? You almost spit out his water.
I sprayed so much on me because he knows that I hate.
So your natural body odor is
no,
diaper?
I've never had that. I have never had the natural body odor of diaper, ma'am.
Come on,
ma'am.
Is it? Was you,
ma'am?
I don't know.
Sweating so much.
Oh, maybe it's your natural like body odor and the deodorant mixture makes it smell like diaper.
Yeah,
maybe it's the type of deodorant mixed with your body chemistry.
I'm telling you, it was like the white degree.
No, it was spray. It was the teal can with the teal top.
Yeah. That kind of, because I used to use that when I was a teen.
Powder fresh.
Yeah.
And that powder fresh smell mixed.
Very diapery.
It was so diapery.
And you were so sweaty.
And then you guys left, right? So then you guys left. And then I swear to God, as soon as Sam left, I'm sitting here and I'm finishing up. I go in there to finish up. I'm closing everything down. That's when I texted both of you, but I should have put it in the group text, but I didn't think about it. I think I hit you up first. So I'm like, the diaper smell.
Yeah.
And then I told Sam, I was like, it's me. I believe I am. I believe I am the diaper.
That's an odd first time.
And to come from your pit.
Yeah.
It's even more disgusting. If it came from downstairs, I'd be like, okay, it was acceptable. You know? It's just
you gotta get your sweating under control.
I gotta change my life.
You can get Botox.
I was gonna say the Botox injections in your armpits.
No. I'm not smoothing out my pit. I like them wrinkly.
That's gotta be bad for you though, right? Because it's natural to sweat.
No.
Where does it go?
I mean, mine
is clogging up your pores.
But I've cut down on my caffeine.
Yeah,
Why am I sweating so much? I've
never
had this problem. I must be going through. I must have on my period or something.
He's not out in the savannah where he's trying to cool himself with sweating. He's just sitting here in an air-conditioned studio. Like, we can clog up all his pores and he'll be fine. You know, he doesn't need his armpits to sweat so much.
But he sweats in here.
No, I know, but that's what I'm saying. Clog up the pores. It can't be bad for you.
I mean, unlike Tom, I am a high-energy performer.
Today's going to be bad because you're in a black T-shirt and we're going to be out in the sun.
I'm going to take all my clothes off and just wear tidy whities.
Just wear a diaper.
Just wear a diaper.
What's the next email?
Email.
Hey, Dan, I hope to give you this some thought. I am a daredevil and former professional bull rider. I've been struggling with back pain since 1996.
Oh, everybody's mad at me for saying I want to do surgery because I've had enough.
I visited several doctors about surgery. A surgeon that has worked on me in the past told me point blank, surgery is a lottery. Everyone reacts different. So some do get relief.
Wait a minute. Nobody wins the lottery and hates it, do they? So you know what? Next email.
And also, is it like the lottery in 0.0001% win?
Yeah, because you're scaring me a little bit.
Are you talking like a 50-50? Give me some percentages.
Yeah.
Some do get relief, but some have multiple surgeries to only live on pain meds. I have had 4 associates that did have surgery only to develop cancer and die.
Yeah, that's the part that got me.
It's real. I will be 50 next week, and my wife turned me onto a couple exercises that have recently changed my life. Lower back pain, interesting video. Not sure if this is where you have your pain. I was doing them
last night. I was doing core exercises, yoga. I was doing hip flexor stretches last night for a solid hour. And they help, but I don't seem to be improving. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can do all of that, and then I'll get up, and Andrew will be like, well, how do you feel? And I'll be like, I feel good.
Temporary relief.
Yeah, and then an hour later, I'm like, here I am.
Maybe that is just how it is.
Yeah, I'm beginning to believe that.
Which
but
is maybe
okay.
not.
Which is okay.
I've heard of
I
people.
just need somebody to tell me that. You understand what I'm saying? Like, if somebody looks at me in the eye and says, look, this is the way it is. You're just going to have to adapt.
Mm-hmm.
Fair. That's fair. Because I played sports. I did a lot of things. I sat a lot. I've been doing this for 25 years. This is not good for you. I didn't take care of myself probably as good as I should have. But I can now, right? So I'll just make the best of it.
Yeah, but there's also, like, people say it's a lottery. And, yes, everybody reacts different. But is there statistics to, like, it works for 75 to 80% of the people? Because give me some stats, because then you'll be like, okay, well, the horror stories, it's like, yes.
I think, did Bart have surgery or did he just get the injections?
I think he may have had the surgery or whatever. I know my father-in-law did and helped him a lot.
He moves around better than I do.
He could,
but then,
barely walk.
somebody in the chat the other day also mentioned, like, Ryan Sickler, who's a comedian. He just had one, and he almost died.
Yeah, I want to know about...
Our buddy is having real bad problems.
We have a friend of ours that we're thinking
also
about
bad.
and sending love to that guy. Give me a Cliff Notes on Sickler, what happened, because I want to listen to that, or would it make me scared?
It probably would make you scared, but he also has other issues like blood clotting and stuff too. So,
gotcha. But he had the surgery, and it just didn't go right.
No,
but we shouldn't.
It didn't heal correctly.
We shouldn't look at anomalies and think that that's going to happen to you,
right?
Because
right.
What's going to happen to you is statistically what happens to the most people.
Right.
So it's like if 75% of people get relief.
But it's going to be all over the place too, right? Because again, everybody heals differently.
Right.
Also, some doctors are better than others. You got to make sure you got a good doctor.
I have been told that I heal only second to Wolverine.
Oh, okay.
That's
good.
It's so hard because not only do we have there's a business involved, right? So
this is the part that I hate.
You have to keep coming back because you're in pain.
Not only that, but there's a business of being a surgeon, right? If they're a surgery center, they do surgeries, right? So when you go into a surgery center and they look at you, now I'm not saying that they're corrupt in any way. I'm just saying they have to be influenced a little bit by the track of surgery, right?
But wouldn't that be counterproductive? Because then you're like, well, this particular surgery center, their people are not getting relief and are not getting better, and people have to keep coming back or doing more surgeries or whatever if there's a track record of repeat customers.
I think it's also,
as opposed to successful customers
and
also, getting recommendations.
I think it's hard to. I think you guys kind of hit it when you were talking about the idea of people all being different and how you said, are there, let's say 75% of the people got relief. We don't really talk about that. We have a tendency to go further onto the horror stories because those are the ones that get the attention. But
they're the ones that post about I got this horror story.
Right.
And stuff and the people
they're loud.
Yeah, they're the loudest, and then so they're the most influential. And I do think though there also is I went to the doctor surgeries that Jewett for my shoulder, right? Thinking that inevitably because of the way it sounded, and I was like, oh man, something's messed up in there. And they did the contrast MRI and the whole thing, and the doctor told me straight up, he's like, you know what? He's like, is there something floating in there? If we did surgery, it's not a very good chance that, we're talking 50-50, whether it helps it or it doesn't change it at all.
Yeah.
And why put you through that for that? And he was honest. He wasn't trying to sell me on the surgery.
That's the thing. You got to find a good doctor.
I think I have that now. Like Andrea, we finally got to not that I don't want to besmirch the name of anybody I've worked with. I think they've all, I don't think I've gotten a hold of anybody that didn't care. I just think it is a very, very weirdly specific thing to the person. Like for me going in there and getting the injection, I will say that the first injection I got for the first 3 weeks, like you guys saw me, I was like, oh man, this is great. But, some people, they get that and they're good.
Yeah.
And I just think you have to keep trying things. And I think that's where people get discouraged. And then it's very easy to just go, well, it's not going to get any better, and stop trying. So I'm not going to do that. I have a lady I'm going to see. I'm very excited about it, and I think I'm going to get a better plan. But anyway.
Yeah, it's just so many people deal with it, especially as you get older. Something breaks down, and then you're over.
Well, your body is breaking down as you get older.
And it's my
your
hips.
shoulders, your knees,
it's
all
my
these
hips and
all
back.
these things.
It's not my knee even. It's just my hips and my back.
And then it's like the joke of the doctor telling you, oh, your shoulder hurts, your knee hurts. I think it's a Louis C.K. joke. He's like, well, that's the way you have to live now. That's just the way it is.
That's how you die.
Yeah, it's not even that you're dying. It's just and technically everybody is, but it's that is just how it is. And then it's managing that.
Yeah.
And then it becomes you're an addict or whatever else things or
that was
disease.
The worst
it's
thing the guy said to me.
Managing pain is now the reality of the rest of your life.
Well, that was the worst thing the last doctor said to me is that I remember when, because remember the last injection I got, I waived the anesthesia and everything because I was just just stick it in there. I don't care anymore. It's not going to hurt any worse than it already hurts. You know what I mean? If you're putting a needle in there. And he did it, and he's like, okay, do you need any medication or anything? And he's like, so where are we at with pain? And I was like, it's pretty bad. And he's like, but is it manageable? And I was like, well, I guess. I'm
not dying, but I'm in pain.
But when I heard that, it did give me pause to be like, oh, man.
This is what
I'm at that stage, So I mean, yeah, we'll figure it out.
Anyway. I will tell you guys two things one that I want to talk about last Friday, where I was sitting on the couch and I was going through my social media messages, right, on Facebook.
Okay.
Because I often don't check. I got 2 Facebook accounts. I got a personal one I started when Facebook started, right?
Yeah.
And then I got a public account that I started back in the radio days because my Facebook one filled up. And then no one knew how to use Facebook when it started, really. Yeah. And then when everybody's like, oh, you can only have 5,000 friends. So start a public page so you can have unlimited friends.
Well, it used to be you had a profile that was yours, and then you had a fan page.
Yeah, fan page. And so I started one of those a long time ago, and then I often forget to check the messages, like the direct messages in there.
Because it's hard to find.
So I went there, and then I started a bunch of other fan pages back in the radio days for other goof things as a joke, with kind of at the beginning of Facebook.
Oh, there's one in particular I love. Is that the one you're talking about?
One of them, no.
Mr. Uglyface?
Yeah, that I still have. But there's another one, a Drunky the Bear one that I started. And then I noticed that I had messages unread.
Oh, man.
And then I was like, and I clicked on it, and I just...
Travis Pastrana.
So
Drunky the Bear Monsters.
Yeah, the last message that was unread was a guy that was complaining. He's like, I went into Las Patas, and then, but by the way, this was his complaint. I don't think he's listening anymore because I sent him back a message, and he never... So he's like, I went into Las Patas 3 minutes before they closed. Now, I know... that's pretty close to closing time, but they wouldn't make me 5 steak subs or whatever the hell he ordered. And he said, I'm sorry, we put everything away. He's like, my 10-year-old son was very disappointed, and we had to go somewhere else.
Yep, still disappointing people from the grave, Drunky the Bear.
My God.
Yeah, he disappoints people. He killed the character 10 years ago.
You went there right before.
Disappoints kids.
I used to work at a sub shop 3 minutes before
they
closed.
start packing all the ingredients away into the coolers.
But should you? If we had a sub shop and we closed at 10 p.m.
It's a mom and pop sub shop.
I would wait till we close at 10 p.m. and then I would pay my employees 30 minutes extra to put everything away.
It's anyway. So he said he's 10-year-old son, and I looked at when this message was sent. It was in 2013. And then so I wrote him back. I wrote him back. I'm like, well, now your son's a man, because now his son's 20 years old. And I'm like, I hope he remembers how disappointed he was that day. You should ask him and let me know. As a joke, I just saw this but then I started thinking how weird that is because follow me here.
I have tons of messages I've never seen.
Well.
And I hate that.
It's odd because when I looked at it, it looks exactly the same, like the person's picture and the messenger, and it has not changed since Facebook started. And so this message looked and was written exactly the same as a message someone sent me yesterday as far as how it looks. And but just the date was different on top.
Right.
So that's weird because in my life, you can gauge how old something is by the way it looks. For instance, pictures and other things. Like you watch something from the 90s or whatever, even the early 2000s on TV, it looks different than it does now. Like like clothing is different. Like things evolve and change.
Even the film grain or how it was produced looks different.
But Facebook Messenger has never changed.
I feel like any personal message looks the same though. Like texting, DMs on Instagram.
You know what's funny? I go back and look at my text messages if they're old, and I have a distinct style that will change depending on wherever I am in my life. Have you noticed that? Like I have catchphrases that I use differently.
I've never noticed. I couldn't tell you an old.
I can see what was trendy in my vernacular when I go back and look at what I wrote.
Okay,
I'll go like, oh, look, he was into this, or he used this, or and it kind of bothers me that I'm that basic.
It was just how uniform the social media is, and so the fact that it was 10 years old shocked me. Because I was like,
and unread too.
This looks like a message that was sent to me yesterday.
That's crazy.
Just, 10 years is a long ass time. That message would.
What's the value of that message to Facebook servers? If you had to think about trying to give it, because they've been holding on to that unread message for that guy to you for 10 years.
Yeah.
That has some value, right?
And then
It's crazy to think about that. Somewhere it was stored in the
there's
universe,
some storage
just
value
sitting there.
Yeah. That's why I think there's got to be at one day like a great information dump that they have to just delete all this stuff, right? Like, can they store
what do
it
they do with all our old MySpace stuff?
It's stored somewhere. And
where?
When's the last time you
a
tried
digital
to get into your MySpace?
It's been a while.
I tried to get into mine over the weekend just to see what it was like. I went back there, and there's a few pictures on there that I grabbed because I hadn't seen them in a minute. But
I don't think I can get in anymore.
It's like a ghost town. You go back and look at that stuff. Another thing I like to do that's like kind of eerie is to use the Wayback Machine to go back to web pages that don't exist anymore. Man, it just blows your mind. And you think about where you were and how complicated you thought it was, and you think about where we are now and how complicated it actually is.
It's also a weird phenomenon where I feel like more than ever we're being reminded how much we've changed, like personality-wise, and by seeing and being exposed to things you thought a decade or more ago.
like a
Facebook memory or whatever.
I think it makes you
like a post that you posted 10 years ago.
I think it makes you a little more aware. So what is the end game on that? When you're subjected to memories, like my mom and dad were never subjected to their memories, so they were never comparing themselves to a different version of themselves.
No.
I would imagine it's going to have a negative effect.
I mean, it depends on the way you look at it. Like it could remind you that
life
you
is
have
precious.
that you have changed, or your mentality has changed, or something, or like the way you joke about things have changed, or like
I used to be a Nazi.
I look back.
That's right.
I've looked back at some of the things I wrote on social media. I was like, whoa, I wouldn't write that now.
Yeah.
Like,
okay, I
and
get what
so
you're saying.
and then it just kind of reminds you like how society's changed. I don't know. And speaking of that, I did see some video.
Oh, damn, Sam.
I Googled my name and MySpace. Well, you know.
Sam putting the secrets in the chat room.
What secret?
That's not a secret.
What is it?
I looked up my my name back in the day, Samantha Rogers, before I got married, and I put MySpace, and then I hit images because I can't find an actual account. And it's all the same girl. It's not me, but there's one of her in a Confederate flag bikini.
MySpace is better.
Sure
a lot of duck lips.
MySpace is more fun.
Did people still do duck lips?
Yeah, some do.
Okay.
Some are stuck in 2007.
Well, speaking of 2007 and early 2000s, I saw this video and it made me laugh.
Do I need to look it up?
You can look it up, but it was the director of the movie Idiocracy. Sam, you're familiar, right?
Yeah. It's been a while since I watched it, but yes.
So Idiocracy being a movie that came out in the early 2000s about like this dystopian future where everybody turns dumb, right? And they reference it a lot because it seems like it's happening. But the director was talking about in the movie, the actual wardrobe person was looking for the same shoes for everybody to wear in the movie, and they had a certain budget or whatever, but they thought it would be funny if everybody just bought the same shoes.
Okay.
And they were trying to find some ridiculous shoe for people to wear in the future. And she found, this is what the director said, that the wardrobe person found a startup company selling the shoe. And she's like, oh, this shoe is perfect. And she went to the director like, I found the perfect shoe.
I think it was a GoFundMe.
It was a GoFundMe or like she was
or what was the one that I did? Yeah, GoFundMe. Was that what I did for Coolest Cooler? Was that a GoFundMe?
It was Kickstarter.
Was it
Indiegogo. It was one of those. Kickstarter. I think it was Kickstarter.
It may have been, or the beginning, because they got the shoes for the movie, but the director's like, what happens if everybody's wearing these shoes by the time, because it's a Kickstarter or whatever?
Yeah.
And then the wardrobe person was like, no way.
Yeah.
Anybody's going to ever wear these shoes. It's never going to take off, but this is the perfect shoes. And it was Crocs.
Yeah, it was Crocs. Here's Mike Judge.
Like,
here's Mike Judge, I think, on Red Rogan talking about it.
So this was, we shot it in 2004. She tells me, okay, there's a startup, and it was Crocs, but they weren't out in the world yet. But it was a small company, and she goes, look at these, there are these horrible plastic shoes with holes in them. She said, we could really save a lot of money, just put everyone in these things. And then I said, well, what if by the time the movie comes out, what if these become popular? People are wearing them. She said, oh, these are never going to become popular.
They're really popular right now. They
Are
came
they
back.
back?
They came back in the last 2 years.
It's crazy that Mike Judge is so detached from all of us that he didn't know that Crocs are popular right now.
well, he knew that they blew up at a certain time. I think this was later on.
No,
you know
this is like a couple years ago
But
on
does
Rogan.
he have kids?
No,
Because
but
I felt
mean,
like kids brought him back.
No, but can't you just walk through the universe and look around and see that everybody's wearing Crocs? How do you not know
Some people don't pay attention.
How old is my judge? He's dumb old man,
60.
right? Yeah, he's old.
But also there was a time that when Crocs first hit the market that they blew up, and now everybody still wears them, but there was a time they were hot, and I think
I think like not even 5 years ago they had another peak.
Yeah. I think they ebb and flow, whatever. But how funny is that?
It is crazy to think that there have been other things like that I think. People have tried to use, and then it's been implemented into. I know it's happened with the military where they have some sort of technology or something that they implement, and they're like, it's just out of necessity, and then it just bleeds over because it actually works.
Well, what becomes super popular is interesting because of why. It's like I was talking to someone the other day about the hard seltzer movement, and no one saw it coming, obviously, because someone could have gotten stinking rich, and it was like the hard seltzer boom came out at a time where I guess the whole world was looking for an alternative to regular beer. And there was regular beer, malt liquors, and other stuff. And then but there's always been like Zimas and like Mike's Hard Lemonade. But there was this market that no one knew that.
They made it a little neutral, right? Like White Claw, to me, the reason it succeeded wasn't, number one, I'd say the flavors, right? The flavors are great. But number two, they made it sort of gender neutral. And I think that was important to get over that stigma hump of like, oh, it's a gay drink because it's a seltzer. And once they made it neutral and then people tasted it.
You know what I saw the other day in the store, and I guess it doesn't matter if it tastes good or not, but I just thought it was an interesting marketing choice that there's a new seltzer that's like, it's something to the effect of like mom juice. And I'm like, aren't you kind of cutting your audience in half?
They have a dad one too.
Or at least, do they?
They have a dad one too.
I just find that odd.
I don't know if it's the same company, but
It probably is.
Because now they have to go ultra specific. It's like once there's
micro.
Once everybody
audience.
I mean, now everybody has a seltzer. Everybody's coming out with.
So you take the same seltzer and then you just microfy it and push it out to these micro groups.
You're not gonna win the Seltzer Wars. It's already oversaturated.
White Claw is the king forever.
Yeah,
they're the Beatles of seltzer.
Really, it's so saturated now that so I agree. I still drink White Claw, and now I like the White Claw, the vodkas.
It's good.
Which you can't really tell the difference.
I gotta try those still.
Oh, you haven't had them?
No.
Joey loves some. If you want to take them home, take them home.
Yeah.
Take them home.
They're good.
They're real good.
But it's
smooth.
But the fascinating thing to me is there was this huge market that was undiscovered, and then until someone like White Claw, and there's like a handful of others, obviously, when it got released, they simultaneously realized, just by luck, that, the world wanted this, and it blew up.
You know what no one's ever talked about? Oh, damn, we got to get out of here. But real quick. Well, you know what? We'll bring it up another time. I got something I want to ask you. Guys, we'll take a break, and are we done?
We will go into AMT Best Of.
Oh, yeah, I always forget about this. This is fun. I like it when we do this. And today, I think we're going to discuss work ethic and whether or not hard work will guarantee you a victory. I don't know.
Bye-bye.
Cool. That was good. Yeah, what I want to talk about is, was there ever a pushback about light beer being effeminate or gay or diet?
Probably.
When it first came out in the
I bet.
80s,
did anybody remember that when it rolled out in like
Friday
the 70s?
Yeah,
I want to talk about that. But I want to see if we can find a commercial that's like, I don't drink that light shit, or something.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be in a commercial because it was only TV commercials and shit back then.
Right,
so it would just be within the zeitgeist of your community, of whoever you hang out with, right?
Probably. Word of mouth.
All right, hit lunch, and then that's it for today on Twitch, guys, and YouTube.
Yep. We're going to the Science Center. We're going to record a show out there for Mess Fest. So we're going to...
You'll hear that probably Friday.
Blow some foam up. How does that work?
Yeah, we're going to blow the foam up.
I want to pour the two thing and it go.
And guess what we're doing today, guys? And this is like Tom's gonna love this. We are flocking Tracy's shoes.
Oh no!
Right. Yeah. Bye.